football fan, and we've just witnessed our first major derby of the weekend. It's the weekend of derbies. There's, of course, another Classico coming. There's you've already seen Napoli take on Juventus, and we've just witnessed a rather exciting, if controversial, Manchester derby take place. Now, before we go into why the match was both exciting and controversial, let's just quickly have a bit of a recap of how exactly it is things panned out. Now, again, this was going to be one of those matches which many people saw as key to the title race, because if City lost out today, then there's always a very good chance that Arsenal would be the team who would be the most happy, and in fact that has been exactly what's happened. City have lost the match 2-1, but is there a major asterisk on this victory? Should United, despite the fact that they had a very, very good showing, actually have only been settling for a draw or maybe even a loss? We don't know, because that was the nature of this match. I mean, if you go over the first half, very tight. City were at times, careless with their passing. United, on the other hand, were resolute in defense, and it really did come down to how things panned out in the second half. What changes could some Guardiola make? What impact would that have? Would Manchester United be emboldened after the first half and go for a win? Well, it was much of the same, at least early on in the second half, until, of course, City finally worked an opening, and Jack Grealish, who's been a man in a bit of form recently, ended up finding the back of the net. At that point, it seemed like it would be business as usual for Manchester City. Looked like they were heading for a win. They were getting more confident in possession. They looked like, for all intents and purposes, like they had the game in the bag. And then came that rather controversial moment, which I was referring to. Bruno Fernandes scored the equalizer, but initially the goal was ruled offside, not due to Fernandes, but because there was a feeling that Rashford was offside and interfering in play. Now, Fernandes protested it very vocally to the linesman. That ended up forcing a bit of a inspection of the goal. There was a VAR check and the goal was given, but replays do suggest that it was a very controversial, marginal call, to put it politely. And at that point, City were pretty much deflated. Then 2 minutes later, Marcus Rashford did what he's been doing a lot of recently and actually scored the winning goal. And that's all she wrote. City did try and fight back, but you could tell that the wind was very much out of their sails at that point in time. And well, therefore, it was always going to be a case of, really it was too little too late at that point. Once United scored that second goal, the match was over. Now, again, why is it that the call was a controversial one? Why is it that I've addressed it as a controversial call? It's because, generally speaking, when the pass is played, and if any player of the attacking team is in an offside position and near the ball, they are normally seen as interfering with the play, and therefore it's flagged as an offside, even though the player who scored the goal may not have been in an offside position. And that's exactly what the case was with Bruno Fernandes. He wasn't in an offside position, so when he touched the ball and he shot, technically it was onside because he very much was in an onside position. However, the linesman flagged it for offside because Rashford was in an offside position and was actually looking. He was very, very close to the ball. He was going to shoot. He was going to touch the ball, but I think maybe a shout from Fernandes, and he left the ball, and that's why Fernandes was able to get the shot away. So normally, why am I saying it's a marginal call? Because generally speaking, such a call, the way we saw it play out on our screens, I've seen them given as offside more often than not. This time around, however, maybe it was the pressure from Fernandes, maybe it was the fact that the referees felt that, okay, it deserved the look either which way, a re-look rather, that it went to VAR, and well, we know what happened after that. The goal was overturned, and that was it. That was pretty much all the, it knocked the stuffing out of City, and I can understand why. That being said, even keeping that controversy aside, this is in fact a display that Manchester United fans can be very, very happy about, simply because I don't think there were a lot of teams, people who fancied their chances. Yes, they'd been on a good run of form recently. Yes, Marcus Rashford had been scoring plenty of goals, but they hadn't really been tested by a top opposition up until this point. So this match was really going to be a litmus test of sort for them. Could they have actually gotten through it with even at least a draw? Would have been an impressive result. But they've gone away with all 3 points and may just have dented City's hopes of retaining the Premier League title. And of course, don't forget, Arsenal will be playing later on. If Arsenal can win their match, then they're going to have a nice little buffer at the top of the table. City at this point are very much looking at a season where they are not winning the Premier League, and United, Well, if their displays keep improving the way they have so far this year, then they are looking at potentially being a Premier League title challenger, or maybe even a challenger for consistent trophies in about a year or two. That's how impressive their turnaround has been under Eric Ten Hag. And day by day, it does seem like the decision to let go of Cristiano Ronaldo is actually working out in favor of Manchester United. The way they were playing was a very cohesive way, and a way that, generally speaking, they could not have played when they were having to fit in Ronaldo into the playing 11. So the breaking news update, if you're just joining us, is that Manchester City have lost the Manchester derby in controversial circumstances, sure, but Manchester United have every reason to be proud of their display, even though an equalizing goal, as I said, bit of a dicey situation, but winners, it's always about fine margins. The call went their way, and so did all the 3 points. Thank you all for joining us from this, breaking news update. We hope you enjoy our coverage over here at Sports Today. If you do, you can, show us your love. Press that like button, and don't forget, you can like this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Leave us a comment, tap the bell icon, and don't forget to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook as well. Bye-bye for now.